It's done it. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Lazy Mini Painting for the second time today. I'm Laz, and we're going to do the reading and bits from Combat Patrol issue 71. Yeah. Good evening, Silvers. How are you doing? How are you doing? I did send you a link for Monday. Usually can jump up part way through streams, so it's not too bad. So yeah, Monday or Thursday if you're around. So we have the reading sections to do. The first section we have is Astra Militarum, the Hammer of the Emperor. The power and might of the Astra Militarum is brought to bear on the foe in this section. Good evening, Lee. Well, hopefully I'll get to read you a nice little story as you start working on that project. I know I forgot to do. I don't know why it takes so long for that to catch up, and then it works all of a sudden. And then I have to... And it worked for some... I don't know why. But 1 minute, people, before I actually start reading properly, I've got to go join the portrait one, because at the moment it's saying I can't see anything, and I can't even access it properly, which is an absolute pain in the rear end. Right, now I can go get to it. For some reason it doesn't like letting my phone access the portrait one unless I've done it on the computer first. Makes sense, doesn't it? Right, so now I can think. I'm over there in the portrait mode for anyone, and see, I don't know what's happening now. Yep, they are squishy and grunchy at the same time. All activities, yay. Guardsmen are anyway. So let's have a look. The Hammer of the Emperor. Of all the forces available to the Imperium of Man, it is the regiments of the Astra Militarum who are the most numerous. They are the most likely to be deployed in any war zone, and the most likely to be the first to respond to any of the many dangers that threaten humanity. Of course they are. You just gotta chuck loads of guys. Just literally meat for the grinder is what the Astra Militarum are. When it's your biggest resources is your populace, then you use that. The Astra Militarum is a colossal organisation made up of countless women and men under oath to protect the Imperium no matter the cost. Many worlds make up the forces of the Astra Militarum, and entire regiments are sometimes raised containing only specialists from a particular world, equipped with characteristic special weapons and equipment. To maintain coherency in an organisation that is so vast and diverse, strict codes are enforced with brutal discipline. The Astra Militarum will even go so far as to kill soldiers who stray too far from expectations, or who flee in the face of danger. Within this system is a strict hierarchy of formal rank, with the occupants of each position ever urging the troops below them further forward into the fire and death. Oh, that sounds like a lovely thing, doesn't it? That does. Alongside their formidable infantry formations, the Astra Militarum will field endless columns of armoured vehicles, fleets of aircraft and vast numbers of artillery, each vying to crush any enemy resistance and, with luck, clear the way for the endless waves of infantry who will inevitably be sent forward into the heart of the battle no matter what dangers await them. So yeah, meat for the grinder. That is exactly what that is. These magazines always rip. They always rip. Okay, this is one where they're using silly words to make things up again. So, Departamento Munitorum. I'm guessing, I've got no idea what that bit is. We're going to have to read and find out. The Departamento Munitorum is the organisation that provides logistical and bureaucratic support to the Astra Militarum. Alright, okay. Right, so it's the logistics. Guided by labyrinthine regulations and ancient traditions. Okay, so very precise logistics. Oh, maybe not. Their inefficient systems govern all aspects of military life, from the raising of new regiments to the deployment of existing ones. At the single stroke of a pen, a scribe may deploy a regiment to their certain doom, or if they make an error, erase them from existence entirely. How does that work then? Obviously they're still going to exist, they just don't know about them. They're just going to be left where they are. Okay. Adeptus Ministorum. The Adeptus Ministorum guides the people of the Imperium towards the one true faith, the worship of the God Emperor. The Astra Militarum is one of the organisations that sits under its watchful eye, and guardsmen and officers alike are blessed by the presence of the Ministorum's priests, who will shepherd them towards true faith, while helping regiments to root out heresy and blasphemy. So yeah, you're running forward if it says you're running forward, otherwise you're not living. You're probably not going to live if you run forward, in fairness, if you're part of the Astra Militarum. So that's a brief introduction to essentially what is the command squad that we built earlier on today. So this is going to tell us Cadian characters. Okay. The Astra Militarum may be huge beyond counting and rely on standardised ranks and positions to function, but the soldiers and officers who serve in their vast armies are no less individual for it. Read on to discover the background of some of the key warriors in your Astra Militarum combat patrol. So it's got two up there. It's got, I'm guessing, that's how it wanted us to build the commander. I've just put a fist on the one that I've got because it came with a fist, and a fist sounds like a better idea to me. And it's also displaying the scout. Now we will be getting the scout as well, which is good because that plasma cannon is nice. I'm going to probably stick a las cannon on it, but the plasma cannon is nice. Pardon me. So, number one, the Cadian commander. The Canadian, I keep getting that wrong. He's not Canadian, he's Canadian. And I don't know if that's actually working. I hope it is. So the Cadian commander, so where is he? There he is. The Cadian commander, as I said, man's got a fist instead of a sword. Just makes more sense. Strength 6. Cadian commanders are veterans, officers and respected leaders, whether they are driven by loyalty to their troops or by cold ambition. They usually deploy themselves straight to the front of the lines where they can coordinate attacks and urge their soldiers forward. No, not really. No, they usually have lines and lines and lines of men in front of them. So, add your chosen rank to the name that you select. So you can have like a lieutenant, a captain, or a major. And this Cadian commander is famous for defeating, on a roll of a 1 or a 2 is a major, 3 or 4 is captain, 5 or a 6 is a lieutenant. But for his background, 1 or a 2, this Cadian commander is famous for defeating a powerful Orc war boss, and his soldiers love to boast about their leader to other units. You get 3 or a 4. This Cadian commander is highly skilled tactician and is known for his ability to win vital victories with minimal casualties. And if you get 5 or a 6, this Cadian commander is a ferocious warrior, and he always deploys himself and his unit right to where the fighting will be the thickest. I kind of want to call him Major, just because that little, most of you probably seen the shot and it's funny and I'm tempted, but I'm not going to. I think we're going to make him a captain. and I have orcs, so he's killed a powerful orc. So he's got power fists, so we can punch orcs in the face. So he's a captain who punches orcs in the face. Awesome. Oh, we've got 3 of these to do. Woo! I didn't think we'd have this many. Okay, the Armoured Sentinel, even though we're not getting that till way later. We're going to get 3 issues before we even consider looking at that, I think. But we're naming the Armoured Sentinel, or telling about it. Again, you've got 2 tables. 1 or 2. This pilot is new, but they make up for their inexperience with wild enthusiasm, always volunteering for the most dangerous roles. And for its name, on a 1 or 2 would be Pride. On a 3 or 4, its name would be Doom. And this pilot is a master of close quarters combat and will always try to get their armoured sentinels as close to the foe as they possibly can. Finally, 5 or 6, name of Ace. This pilot has fought against chaos many times and has grown expert at countering their tactics and dodging even their most powerful attacks. So, 3 very distinct backgrounds and 3 names, I suppose. And is there any more after this? Oh, it's a data sheet. Oh, that's good. I thought we was going to have to do loads more naming. No, I don't mind the naming, just get a bit too much of it in one issue. Did I even read the bit about the Sentinel? I didn't. So, Armoured Sentinels. Armoured Sentinels are often piloted by more experienced and skilled guardsmen. These elite soldiers are always looking to make a name for themselves and justify their important status. And that's why you get to name it as a background. Okay, that makes a bit more sense. Cadian Command Squad, which is all the models we've got. The Cadian Command Squads are led by a Cadian Commander, an experienced officer accompanied by 4 veteran guardsmen. These highly experienced warriors lead from the front and are widely respected by the troops of the Astra Militarum, who will follow them unflinchingly into the jaws of death itself. So we've already named we give a rank to our commander. We made him a major, so that's our commander. Okay, and now we need to find out about the actual command squad and the veterans. But I'm getting a very dry mouth. Good evening, Graham. Good evening. A trader guard army or a traitor guard army? Because you could do essentially a rogue trader guard army. To do that, you probably go for a lot of heresy stuff, especially for vehicles, just because it looks a little bit more flamboyant than normal, like Leman Russes and Chimeras and stuff, and Sentinels. And then what, Voidsman possibly, or Solar Auxilia, and paint them. That could work for a rogue trader guards army. Well, that'd be quite interesting actually. I've got loads of Cadians, so I'm not doing anything like that now. In fact, I may actually make that what I do on Mondays, try and sort my guard out and figure out what the hell I've got. Seeing as I'm getting more guard. I knew what the hell that was, so that wasn't too bad. Anyway, enough sidetracking. On to tables. So, if you roll a 1 or a 2, again a d6 roll, this is not a Canadian command squad, is it? Nope, it's a Cadian command squad. This Cadian command squad has fought against the Tyranids for years and have a burning hatred for Xenos creatures that they cannot contain. Okay, so the specialised Xenos hunters. If you get a 3 or a 4, this Cadian command squad saved the reputation of their regiment by protecting their banner, even as the army was overwhelmed by the foe. Pardon me. So quite stalwart and steady, fair enough. And for a 5 or a 6, this Cadian command squad has cheated death numerous times, but still always deploy themselves right at the front to inspire their troops. Well, if the commander's an arc puncher, then it seems to make sense that they'll be the Xenosy ones, wouldn't they? That's why he's got them round, just to help him beat arcs back and stuff. Cause knocking. Yeah, so if we're going to choose, because you don't have to roll. So he's going to be the he's going to be the arc puncher, and they're going to be the Xenos hunters, which is 1 or 2. And again, you can write a name in, and it has when you built it, when you paint it, and when you actually play your first game with it, which we'll get onto in a minute, I should imagine. Before that, we need to figure out what actually goes on with this squad and what they can do. Pardon me, sorry. For the datasheet, using combat patrol rules, not full rules. This is the first datasheet for your Astra Militarum Combat Patrol. The datasheet contains all of the information you will need to use your Cadian command squad in games of combat patrol. File it away safely so you don't lose it. They're eventually going to give us a little card for it, I hope, and it can go with the other stack of cards that I've got here, which is just getting bloody ridiculous now. But it's useful just for quick referencing. So what does this Cadian command squad consist of? It's 1 Cadian commander and 4 Cadian veteran guardsmen. And the only difference between a commander and the guardsman is the number of wounds the model has. So in total there are 7 wounds in that unit. So 1 each for the veteran guardsman and 3 for the commander. That's the only difference I can see. Yep, movement 6, toughness 3, 5+ save. That's a difference in wounds. Commander has 3, the guardsmen have 1. Everybody's got a leadership of 7 and an OC of 1. Fair enough. That seems alright. I should be fielding like at least 3 of these, a minimum of 3 of these, because that's what you can do. That seems like an okay-ish datasheet for 15-ish models that are going to hopefully do other things. Chaos aligned to Kharn. Oh, you mean traitor guardsmen? Oh, right, okay, fair enough. Chaos aligned to Kharn with demons and demon engines. That's not a bad idea, Sylphid. I've got to say, I approve of the going with Kharn, because that's what I've gone with. I didn't do Chaos out of the combat patrol. I thought, nope, everything's going to Kharn. Everything. And if I'm gonna make me choose a god, then I'm gonna go with that god. I'm not gonna have an unaligned force. I'm gonna have all Kharn. So I converted the apostle guy and give him a big axe. Although technically I've got enough guardsmen, I could, as long as the rules are out there, there's no reason I can't just go, these are all traitors. Ta-da. That should work. Right, what do they actually do? Okay, so let's have a look at their abilities. So Corey's a leader and they have faction voice of command, so I'm guessing that means they get to do something. Okay. This unit can, so it's a leader unit, so this unit can be attached to the following unit. So you can actually attach these to a unit and make it bigger. Oh. Okay, and they can be attached to Cadian shock troops. Fair enough. So 3 units of these and 3 units of Cadian shock troops, and you've got 3 big blobs of infantrymen. Good infantrymen that are going to die just as easy. Yeah, maybe not worth the points value. We'll see. What else do they do? War gear abilities. Medipack. We do have a Medipack. The bearer's unit has the Feel No Pain 6+ ability. Well, I suppose it's something. Oh, could have been 5+. Come on. He's supposed to be a veteran of this. Look, he looks all swanky and swaggery and stuff. He definitely deserves a 5+ better than more than over a 6+. That's a rip. Anyway, you get the feel no pain 6+. A regimental standard, which is the other dude that's kind of just stood around, not doing a whole bunch. But he's carrying a flag. I've got a flag. Sorry if you know it. That's a very bad reference. Don't wish to do that again. So regimental standard does something, at least. It adds 1 to the objective control characteristic of models in the bearer's unit. So it goes up to a 10 while he's there. Okay, so it can contest over, it can win over 5 of these. 5 of these, because these have an OC. Oh no, these have an OC of 2, I think, and sticky up. But a 5-man squad that only has an OC of 1, they will win out controlling the objective. What are orders? Well, I've got an idea what orders are because I've played past editions. I've not got a codex to hand, but I've got an idea what at least what a couple of them are, I think. So this unit's officer can issue 1 order to a regiment unit. Right, okay, so a guardsman unit or a Cadian shock troopers unit. Basically an infantry unit that's from the Astra Militarum. And the same as these, so it'll have to be a Cadian unit. Because it's in the same regiment. The ones that I think I know, I think it's first rank fire, second rank fire. It gives all your lasguns an extra shot. So they either go 2 shots at full range or 3 shots at half range. I think that's what a lasgun does, we'll find out in a minute. And there's one like move, which I think gives you a guaranteed 6 and you're on an advance for the unit, but you have to advance them because you've used the order. And there's a couple of tank ones as well that I can't remember either, and there's some against tanks as well. They've got quite a few, but I don't know what they all are. Hopefully we're going to find out at least what some of them are when we get the cards for these. Let's move on to the weapons. I know it's a bit random. Actually, before we move on to the weapons, let's check the chat because I can't actually see. I don't know if this is moving properly, but Silver's you're chatting away to me, not that much. And you said you've added some finished Iron Warriors to the Discord. Awesome. I will check them out after I've done this stream because it shouldn't be too much longer. It's I think about the weapons and then the mission at the end. But at least we get to find out what the weapons do. So the range weapons that we're supposed to have. So he's not listed the melter gun like I want. That's a bit crap because I do want melter guns in my Imperial Guard army instead of flamers. But it doesn't list a flamer either, or a plasma gun. So it's going to be no good for actual full games for me because I've got plasma guns and grenade launchers and other things. I also have bolt pistols, and the standard bolt pistol is 12-inch range, 1 attack, hits on a 4, strength 4, no AP, damage 1. Not sure. Right, the veteran guy was supposed to get a bolt pistol, and I've given him a plasma pistol instead. So it's basically the same as my commander, but 1 wound instead of 3. I do, however, have 3 guys with lasguns, which is rapid fire 1, 24-inch range, 1 attack. So it's 1 attack out to 24. If they're within 12, it's an extra attack, so it's 2 attacks. Hitting on 4s still, so not too bad. 50-50 chance. Better than, well, it's about average really. Strength 3, not great. Not gonna lie. AP 0, not great either. And damage 1. So yeah, this is why they get called flashlights. You can imagine the pistol version being a 12-inch range. It's a close range dim flashlight. They are lasers. They can take out an orc, believe it or not, and against things like Eldar and other guardsmen and like gaunts and things like that, they're perfectly adequate. Well, I say perfectly adequate. That's more what they're aiming at. They're not going to be taking down Terminators set with a few lucky hits and a few lucky or unlucky dice rolls if that's the case. However, as I said, I did put a plasma pistol on instead of a bolt pistol. So the plasma pistol has two firing methods. It has a hazardous one, which is a supercharge, and it has a standard. Standard is 12 inches, same as a bolt pistol. One attack, same as a bolt pistol. However, he's strength 7, minus 2 AP, and still does 1 damage like a bolt pistol. But if you supercharge it, it becomes hazardous. It's still got the same range. You get an extra strength, an extra AP, and an extra damage. So, one attack hits on 4, strength 8, minus 3 AP, which is taking Space Marines down to 6, putting pretty much everything on an invulnerable save if he's got one, and the damage 2, which is more than the wound of the guy with the power fist that he's got that's going to be firing it. However, 3 guys have a basic close combat weapon. 2 attacks, hitting on 4s, strength 3, no AP, damage 1. So basically guarding, punching you or stabbing you with a basic piece of metal. The other 2, however, the commander and the other guy with the plasma pistol, both have power fists. You get 3 attacks, hitting on 4 still, strength 6, minus 2 AP and 2 damage. It does want you, however, to put a power weapon on the commander. So it does give you that stat sheet. I've not done it, but it does want you to. Again, you still only get 3 attacks, hitting on 4s, at strength 4, minus 2 AP, 1 damage. So it doesn't make sense not to put the power fists on 2 of them if you've got the option to. It's 2 strength higher, and it's an extra damage. There is no downside to it. There is no downside. You might as well take the power fists. At least they're going to have a chance of wounding things that they hit. That strength 6 being a very nice one because it's higher than pretty much all elite infantry, or at least equal to it. Whereas a strength 4 wouldn't do, is obviously less than, and a 3 is also less than. So you definitely want to go for the power fists. That's just my opinion, and I'm looking at it from the perspective of I'm building a bigger force. Harry, hello. How are you doing? Thank you for coming in. You've come in just in time for me to find out what scenario they're going to ask us to do in this edition of Combat Patrol. I can't believe we're all the way up to 71 now. I think there's only 19 more issues left to go. 19 more weeks. I don't know what I'm going to do with my Wednesdays after that. Oh well, we'll make the most of it while we've got it, eh? So scenario 44. Cadia stands. Oh yeah, they've got all that, I think, because Cadia got blown up. Sorry. That's it. That was a bit nasty, wasn't it? But it did. It got blowed up. The Imperium is under attack from within and without. Only the brave women and men. Why is it brave men and women? Alphabetical order, damn it. Only the brave men and women of the Astra Militarum have the numbers to defend humanity on so many fronts. The corrupt heretics of the Chaos Space Marines see a window of opportunity and swoop down to a strategically vital planet. A detachment of Cadians answers the call and marches out to face the foe. Right, so this is going to be our first mission with Cadians. How to play. To play Cadia stands, set up your battlefield as shown over leaf. Take it in turns to place a total number of 4 terrain cards. The Chaos Space Marine player selects 1 unit of 2 legionaries with a bolt pistol, bolt gun and close combat weapon. And the Astra Militarum player selects 1 Canadian, damn it lads, 1 Cadian command squad unit. At the start of their command phase, the Chaos Space Marine player checks to see if their unit of legionaries has been destroyed. If it has, the Chaos Space Marine player replaces that unit in that command phase by placing them in a Chaos Space Marine deployment zone. Alright, so it's just going to be oncoming Chaos Space Marines. So I'm guessing this is supposed to be Black Legion. Complex, good evening. Good evening, sir. We're about to find out about this little tiny scenario. We've figured out that it's essentially waves of 2 Chaos Space Marines charging at a command squad. That's supposed to have a power sword, but I've given extra power fist to, and an extra plasma pistol instead of a bolt pistol, because I'm not stupid. And yeah, we're going to find out about deployment. The Chaos Space Marine player places their unit of legionaries in one of the Chaos Space Marine deployment zones. The Astra Militarum player places their command squad in the centre of the battlefield. The Chaos Space Marine player takes the first turn. Neither player may take any enhancements or secondary objectives, or use any faction abilities. So it's datasheet only. Fair enough, that's simple to follow. How do you win? I know it's all backwards, about as soon as I figure out how to get it the right way around, I will. But at the moment it's just, nobody's refusing, it's just mirrored. So how to win? The Astra Militarum player wins if one or more models from their command squad unit are within 3 inches of the centre of the battlefield at the end of the game. The Chaos Space Marine player wins if the command squad is destroyed. The battle ends after 4 battle rounds, so you've got to hold the centre for 4 battle rounds against oncoming waves of 2 Chaos Space Marines. With plasma pistols and power fists, that's easy. Well, to a degree. So let's see how they want us to deploy. So you get to put out 4 pieces of scenery, remember? So you've got your scenery cards, and you would use your scenery card in whichever section, and that you would set your battlefield up like that. So you do have some terrain. It does. So it's telling you to use battle map 4 as well. So I think that's the one I cut up. Yeah, that's the one I cut up. So battle map 4 is the one it's telling you to use, which is less grid-like than the other. It's more open. So you could probably do overlapping terrain slightly, or build up terrain in certain places, kind of have it angled instead of having the static. You could play about with it a bit more, is what I'm saying. So you've got your Canadians in the middle. I might as well keep. You've got your Canadian command squad in the middle, and you've got essentially each corner and each block, because each one of these will essentially be in halves because of the folds. Four small Chaos deployment zones, and you put 2 Chaos Marines in one of them and try and kill the command squad. Fairly simple, just move, shoot, charge if you can. And they're gonna probably move away a little bit, shoot, and try and not charge, and get the charge if they can, because they've got the power fist and the power sword. But they've also got the medic in there, so as a reminder during this game, the Feel No Pain ability. The Feel No Pain ability grants units an extra chance to save against wounds. The Cadian command squad has had their ability as long as the guardsman with a medipack is still part of the unit. In this example, the unit suffers 2 wounds and fails its save rolls. The player makes 2d6 Feel No Pain rolls, 1 for each point of damage. The 6 succeeds, but the 4 does not, and the unit only suffers 1 wound instead of 2. So in that case, I think they bump off the Voxcaster, as opposed to getting rid of the banner, which does something, at least in this game, and the guy with the special weapon, and the guy with the medipack, and the leader. So they bump off the useless one first. At least they do that smart. Ooh, this is the first time we actually get a different one. We've got a new one. Um, Good evening, Evelyn. Ah. Good evening. Hello. Welcome in again. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming. Um, I'm tempted to go. I'm gonna hold out for a minute because Complex has just asked me a question. Around March, April. Yeah, fans. Well, Combat Patrol size 40k. What's Combat Patrol size 40k? Because if it was to point these up, then it would be a different matter entirely. It'll fluctuate up and down. Is it 5, 6, 750? Because each Combat Patrol is actually pointed weird. Because I know the Genestealer Cult Combat Patrol is going to be way underpointed compared to just the Chaos one. Because they've got Havocs in there. They've got 10 Marines. They've got the and the Hellbrute as well. It's gonna be 1,000 points. I could do 1,000 points game, but we would have to sort. Yeah, we'll communicate about that later. But yeah, I'll be up for 1,000 point game. Question is, I don't know which army I'd use. I could do 1,000 points through most armies at the moment without even batting an eyelid. So it'd have to be a patey one though, wouldn't it? So that rules some out. Yeah, that rules some out. Yeah, that because I won't be able to use Eldar because they're not painted. No, that's it. I won't be able to use Eldar because they're not painted. Everyone else has got 1,000 points paid, but more than. So yeah, that's easy enough. Is Almuth? Have you thrown this? Is Almuth involved with this as well? Because we could do kind of a mini thing between the three of us. If it's only small games, and because I need to make sure that there's someone who knows how to play it properly because I'm really out of touch on the full rules. Because I was playing at full, that larger size, we'll be playing at full rules. I'm assuming. But yeah, let's reach out to Almuth as well. That'll be an excellent idea. So hello, Evelyn. I've come very much towards the end of this, but I've still got a bit to go, so I'm drawing it out a little bit just so I can. Combat Patrol. So you haven't approached Almuth, okay? Silver's Combat Patrol games are fun. You play 0 points. Just the miniatures in the box. The Warhammer community has a list of all legal Combat Patrol boxes. I could probably make a couple of those. Oh, you're in an escalation. What's an escalation league? I don't know what an escalation. Does that mean you start with the Combat Patrol and you slowly build up until you eventually get to a full 2,000 point game? Is that what that is? Because I don't do socializing. This is the closest I get to socializing. I'm old and grumpy and miserable and, well, not miserable, but I'm old and grumpy. So I don't socialise well, especially with people. Some people just no, shut up, put my models down, what you doing, get out. And I can't say that apparently, so I don't go in. I'm nice like that. Not everybody, but there's always that one person. There's always that one person. And if you don't realise who it is, you're either lucky or you are that person. I hope you're just lucky. So, Evelyn, yes, we have had a little bit of a fight between the Astra Militarum, who we built earlier, and we have the commander, who likes to punch arcs in the face apparently, because we've gone through the naming section, and we have the 4 veterans that are with him, who are veteran Tyranid hunters and do not like Xenos, which is why he's chosen. I have gone a little off script though, because instead of having a bolt pistol, I've got 2 plasma pistols, and instead of having a power sword, I've got 2 power fists. So I expect to, if I play it as them, I'll expect an Astra Militarum victory in this one. Which, in this case, the staunch warriors of the Imperium stand firm against the onslaught of forces of chaos, and the field of battle is theirs. The traitor Astartes are cut down, and the regimental standard still stands tall, a defiant symbol that now and forever Cadia stands. If you take their loadout though, where you end up with a bolt pistol and a power sword, and I know it's only 2 weapon changes, but it's a big difference. I know, Complex, greedy, aren't I? Good evening, Graham. What's keep talking to you like that? Cadia does stand apparently. I don't get. Yeah, I chose fists and plasma pistols. Do you not like fists? Have you got something? Have you got a version of fists? I know I've got all hammers with my close quarters Terminators, but that's the different matter. They can't take fists. It's only the ones with guns that can take fists. But yeah, if you take the loadout that they would have advised with the power sword and the bolt pistol, chance of chaos victory. In which case, the weak flesh of mere mortals always fails before the might of the Chaos Space Marines. Brave though the enemy's final stand may have been, it was also foolish. Now their corpses litter the battlefield along with countless others. So yeah, you just become part of the mush underfoot. Lucian, hello again. Welcome in. Welcome in. Your custom guide chapter might like this update. Oh, you have a custom guard chapter. Is that... Sorry, it's not a custom regiment, it's a custom guard. Oh. What's your base troops? What models are you using? That sounds really interesting. That does. If you're not already in the Discord, please could you join so we could have a look? That does sound really interesting. I mean, custom Space Marine chapters, not much. It's just a different paint colour scheme, that's all it is. Maybe a few more flourishes if you've got... I mean, you can go all in on it, but it's quite easy to do a custom Space Marine chapter. To do a custom guard, so they're not Cadians, they're not Catachans, they're not Steel Legion, they're not Death Corps Krieg, they're not Mordians, they're not Von Vostroyans. If you're doing your own custom one, then yeah, interesting to know what you've used as just baseline troops, really, because most of them have them already. Ooh, Old Carskin. Oh, nice, nice. Full army of those would be quite interesting, actually. Yeah, very nice. I'm guessing they'll hold out on the Chaos Victory. Yeah, they won't get the Chaos Victory. Astra Militarum will kick their ass on that one. Fair enough. With that, we also get the final page, which is Choose Your Enemy. As your Astra Militarum collection grows, you may wish to revisit this scenario to see how your units fare against the mighty Chaos Space Marines again, or choose completely different opponents to test their mettle. These suggestions below will allow you to tweak this scenario to your liking. So, bolstering your lines. In future issues, you may wish to you will receive armoured rank and file Astra Militarum troops, support units, and artillery to bolster your detachment. You could replay this scenario with Acadian command squad attached to a unit of Acadian shock troops. Or you could try to defend the very centre of the battlefield with an armoured sentinel. If you add extra firepower, your opponent will have to think carefully about how they bring you down. Greater foes. You can replay this scenario by replacing the Chaos Space Marine legionaries with other troops or other troop units from other combat patrol forces. For example, if you swap out the legionaries out for termagants or Arc Boys, your forces would now be faced with a terrifying Xenos threat. Or when your Astra Militarum collection grows, you could reinforce the Chaos Space Marines with additional legionaries, Havocs, or, if you're brave, a Hellbrute. You're sticking the Sentinel in though, you can definitely get away with the Hellbrute. Definitely get away with the Hellbrute. But that's not a bad idea, just customizing it and growing it a little bit just to get used to using them and remembering the rules that they've got and things like that. Because I'm guessing the Sentinel, if you make it a certain way, it's going to have the scouting rule. And you could give, if you put Von Ryan's Leapers in there and things like that, they're going to be quite quick. So, depending how you change it up with the models that you've got through all the combat patrols so far, if you've been collecting it this far, I have, as a lunatic that I am, complete starter Raven Bunkers. I started it for the sole purpose of boosting a couple of armies and starting a Khorne army. Oh well. So we've still got at least one unit of Genestealers to come, which are, if you see these bikers here, it's gonna be those that we're gonna get. We're gonna get a unit of them. Now, on the little thingy that I got sent, it says that they're gonna be Khorne, but they're not Khorne unit. They're a Genestealer cult unit. So we've got a Genestealer cult unit still to come, which I think will come after the Cadian shock troops. Yes, so next week it's the 2 new paints. We get another White Scar and an Aerial Yellow. We also find out about combined arms and the campaign continues. So on the front of next week's issue, it's actually got 3 different units of Space Marines, or 3 different chapters of Space Marines, should I say. Looks to at least be what the Imperial Fists, the White Scars, which will make sense for the yellow and white. I'm not sure who that one is. It could be the Spectres, but it looks like they've got a skull with an iron halo as this. No, that's the wrong shoulder pad. So I'm not sure who they are, but they're green with white arms. Black with white arms and green trim. So we might get quite a bit of lore or story about Space Marines, because they're going to want us to paint different chapters possibly, or give you the option to. And then the next week and the week after, it's a 2-parter. So I won't be doing the... I won't be doing the first issue. I'll wait until I've got 74, and then I'll do the full build of 10 Cadian shock troops in one go, and completely ignore half of what they want me to do, because I generally do. I build it to how I want it, not how they want it. Again, thinking that I want it in a bigger force, so it's easier enough. And by the looks of it, that's quite a lot of options, because even just looking at the 2 different ones, he's got a flamer, but he's got a plasma gun, and he's got a grenade launcher, and he's got a melter. So they're giving us different setups on the front already, and it's only giving us, it's doing it in 2 parts, so we can't build all 4. Or can we? Ooh. No, he's Games Workshop, we're only going to get 10 sets of legs, we know this. So that's going to do the 2-part thing again. That's going to be fun. Those ones last a lot longer though, because I have 2 magazines worth of reading to do, as opposed to just tonight's issue, which was interesting enough, finding out about the Astra Militarum. It was quite enjoyable actually. I know a fair bit already, because, well, I'm a 40k geek, I've been collecting for bloody ages. But little bits and pieces of information fill in the extra little bits that weren't there already. So that's been alright. That has been alright. I'm a bit stuck now. I finished. I've even been going an hour. I've not even been going an hour. No, I don't. I don't really think I need to. Is there anything I need to go over? No, I think I've covered it all. So very very quick one tonight. Sorry for anyone who's turned up slightly late, but yeah, that is everything done. I've messed up the building so that the combat patrol thing's not going to be happy with me, but 2 paints next week and then skip a week and a double header. Awesome. So that's at least the next 3 weeks planned. I look forward to seeing you on Thursday or tomorrow night even, 9:30 again, and it's onto the magical world of Sparkles and Oak. And it's either painting the last 3 or doing some work on the scenery. I think I'm going to have to do some scenery work though, because I need to finish that last layer off. Either way, thank you all for coming to join me, and I hope you all do come and see me.